host Pilar Lee, and welcome to In the AM with PM. We have a multi-hyphenate, multi-talented individual with us today, Michael MacLeod of Correspondent Productions. So we're going to be talking all about that. But first, I have to know, because I watched the film, watched the Gaios. Lovely, beautiful, stunning film, by the way. But one thing really stuck out to me at the end. It was when you're on the phone with your mom or leaving her the voice message, you say, "This has just been really difficult since the move, and I know I'm so lucky to even be here, but sometimes all I want to do is hug you, but I can't, so it's easier not to think about it." What inspired that line? Because I know, is it being from far away and then coming here? So can you tell us about that line?
Yeah, first of all, thank you very much for watching it. I'm glad you liked it. I think that line in particular as well is, it kind of is what it sounds like. It's exactly that feeling of being so far away from home that, and especially with time difference, it's like 8 hours time difference. Yeah. You don't necessarily want to think about what your family are doing or what all your friends are doing back at home, because you have your life here and you want to pay attention to that and be where you are in the present. And the more you do that, the more you forget about this. The more you do that, the more that you're not present.
It's a whole juggling act.
I think, yeah, and it's a whole juggling act, and I don't think anyone ever truly gets it 100% right. But I think it's definitely true to a lot of people's experiences of being not where they're from or not where they relate to the most. So I wanted to include that in the end of the film, definitely.
Oh, that's beautiful. So for those who don't know / can hear, you have a bit of an accent. So can you tell us about very slight, but can you tell us about where you're from and just how you got into acting and everything?
Yeah, sure. So I am from London. I was born in Lambeth. As you know, the area as well.
Come on.
But
I said you to brat guys.
She did. So I was born in Lambeth and then raised in South London near Sutton. Don't know if you would have seen that, but we'll know. And then I went to boarding school when I was 13, just outside of London in Reading, near Reading. And the way I kind of got into acting, it was never something that I thought I wanted to do as a career until I was about 16, I think, when I got involved with the National Youth Theatre there, which is a massive organisation. Everyone is Ed Sheeran was part of it, Matt Smith was part of it, but not to say there was me too. More just there's that is such a good way of just meeting other creatives and actors in the UK. So I got involved with that, and then basically it was okay, this is actually something I want to do with my life. I enjoy doing this, and I did a few more courses with them. I have academic qualifications in drama, because that's just what I studied at school. So I have an IB qualification in drama. I did GCSE drama. So I've studied it from a few different angles.
So it's very, very serious there.
Yeah, well, everything is academically very serious. But yeah, so that's what I was studying, and then I did a few short films, and then it became an opportunity for me to go out the country and try and study somewhere else. And I was how often do you get the chance to go somewhere else and just learn how someone does something differently? So regardless of which approach I like better or which one I thought I was going to like better, you get limited amount of times in life to do that. And so I was that's it. And then USC.
Here we are.
So yeah.
What are some big differences that you've noticed between the two styles or approaches?
I think there's a lot more technique sometimes in the UK of really detaching yourself from what it is you're feeling or doing, and just working through my body is moving this way and therefore I'm communicating this. And I feel in the US sometimes it's a lot more about emotionally feeling something, and then using your body to convey that. So I don't think either one is better necessarily. I think actually a mix of both is really effective, which again is one of the main pros of being here and getting to see different things and different approaches. Yeah.
That's amazing. And speaking of that and going off of your time here and everything,
yes,
you are in the BFA program, which is very big, very fancy, very serious. Can you tell us about the inspiration that you've been able to gather from your cohort?
Sure, they are amazing people. Shout out to them. So we started off with 14. Now there are 8 of us. People do different things. There's a lot more flexibility in the BA program as well. So the people that have left are doing wonderful things. Some aren't at USC anymore. The pandemic really shook that up as well.
Oh my gosh.
But they're all doing wonderful things. So I'm really lucky to have met them. We're starting a theatre company as well after graduation, which is going to be the 8 of us. There's a temporary name. It's 8 Ball Theatre. And we did like 8 Ball.
Oh, that's so cute. Okay.
Yeah, so we did our first devised piece the other day. It was like a 1-act play. It was invited other BFA cohorts and then some faculty as well. As kind of a trial run of how we work together and how we want to kind of go forward in the future. But I've learned so much. I went to the Edinburgh Fringe Festival with Zach, who's another member of my cohort. And that was my first time producing and acting in something of that scale, and it was just us. It was a 4-person team, and Audrey directed that as well. So I think a lot of the opportunities that I've got here, every production I've acted in has been with them as well. So they are truly like a family away from home, and in a professional setting, like I've learned so much from them. They're so skilled in so many different ways, and everyone brings very different things to the table. So it's a real pleasure to work with.
It's always good when the people around you like actually hit on the nail. So it's like, oh my gosh, we're not lacking. Like we have everything we need.
You definitely need that to feel well-rounded. I think it's important. Yeah.
Exactly, that's fire. And can you tell us about that journey that led you to what? So it looks like you're about to be running 2 production companies.
There's a few more people helping me out with that.
Okay, can you tell us about that?
So the theatre company is very much in like its early stages, but there's a lot of opinions on it and a lot of ways that different people want to shape different things, basically. So that's definitely a more collaborative thing that kind of takes everyone's viewpoints and interests into account and trying to merge them and have something solidly in LA. My production company, Correspondent Productions, is much more about the international experience in LA for now, just because that's kind of where I am. But it very much follows my interests and what I feel like is important for storytelling right now, at least to me. So a lot of those stories are about different cultures, different, as you saw in Takayo's as well, like a real insight into people living away from home, or feel that they don't belong to any one culture, or kind of like that discussion, that conversation, and making those people feel like they have a voice in Western cinema and like in the US specifically for now. But again, who knows where it could take us? You know, I think if I end up back in the UK or speaking to some friends in the UK that want to do something branching off of that, I'd be more than open to that. Or other countries as well, like the countries I don't have a link to. You know, one really exciting bit of this is that, in a really selfish way, I get to learn about cultures I have no idea about, and that is wonderful. Like I think that's the best bit about this for me, that I get to learn masses about stuff I would have never looked into.
That's because I was reading what you had sent me about the production company, and I love that you focus on this idea of globality. I don't know if globality is a word, but we're gonna make it a word for now.
Yeah,
but like, you know, globality and this inclusivity, and you just wanted, like, I saw, like, you know, you really wanted it to represent everyone. So why was it that you wanted to put that in the forefront about your production company?
Yeah, I mean that is fundamentally what I want to do. You know, the film. I was thinking about different ways to release it, and I think that I had to sit down with myself and be like, what is the main goal of this company? What's the main goal of this film? And I think ultimately it comes down to creating a community of artists that want to tell their stories and want perspective from other cultures on their stories as well, and realizing that. I think that's why it's so important as well to like really pay dividend to each individual creator and what they bring to the table, because no 2 people are going to be the same. Even if it's like me and another person from London telling a story about London, it's going to be wildly different. You know, there's 60, 70 million people in the UK. Like, everyone is going to have a very different spin on their home, and stories from their home. So that was really important to me, to just capture every story that we can. And if you want to get involved, DM us on Instagram, Correspondent Productions. Yeah.
I love
Do it.
that. So for those, we want to get people excited about the Gallos, because again, such a beautiful story. Michaela killed it. Michael killed it. So if you were to give us a little blurb about it, what would it be?
Okay. Daniel, a young man from the UK, finds himself in a new country for the first time, and he stumbles across a woman, Daniela, in the middle of the night, close to Christmas, and they find a sense of belonging away from home through sharing their cultural experiences with each other. That is it. That's the log line.
I liked it. Okay. I was like, it almost seemed like it was pre-written.
Maybe. Maybe.
I love that. I love that. So can you tell us about how you went about making that? Just like in the way, what unique styles and approaches do you bring, and that like, what are people going to be looking at or expecting when they do join Correspondent Productions?
So, first of all, I started writing it in late 2021. And it started from, I have the idea for the company. When I launch the company, I don't want it to be an empty shell of the company. I want there to be a film that comes out of it, and that can be how we launch it and get people talking about it and get people excited about it. So I was kind of thinking, like, what are the international experiences that bring us together or drive us apart? And made a little list with my housemates, and was just like what are the things we can go through? And one of the things on the list was national holidays. So in Tacayos, you see Michaela's character Daniela talking about La Noche de Rábanos, which is like the festival of radishes in Oaxaca. That came up when I googled it, and it was like I've never seen anything like this festival. They carve radishes, they get like prize money. There's all of this stuff around this festival that I'd never heard of. So I basically just looked into that a lot, and I was like, that's really interesting. And then obviously taking my experience of like, there are things we celebrate back home that like when I'm here that no one cares about, obviously, because there's no one there, you know? Yeah. So kind of melding that, and then I did more research into the culture I don't know so much about. So for example, there's a really nice clothes shop called Oaxaca Mia on Normandy. And I went in there and like interviewed the woman that runs that. Shout out to Veronica, lovely lady. And her husband and her kid as well. And like, so we just chatted in there, and yeah, bought some stuff. I bought some crickets from them as well and stuff. Just
like candied crickets?
No,
or like live crickets?
They were dead, but they were just like to snack on. Like they were like spiced.
How were they?
They were right.
Okay.
I don't think I could eat a lot of them, but I did enjoy trying them.
Oh, that's fun. I had some crickets in the, what was it? What is that? Salt and Straw. They had like a cricket like mealworm? Salt and Straw, the ice cream place. Oh, no, Salt and Straw, right?
No, yeah. Send it to me after.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
Great lavender ice cream. Shout out Salt and Straw. Lavender, as we see, I love. But yeah, I like had crickets in the ice cream, and I was like, whoa.
Yeah. So we went to them, and then a friend of mine, when he went to Oaxaca, he met her. And so I was talking to him, and he was like, oh, you're making a film about this place, I should put you in touch with her. And so Ariella as well, Ari, thank you very much to you. I spoke to her, and it's interesting because her experience is a lot more similar to Daniela's in the film. Like she's half Mexican, half American as well. So like when she's in the US, obviously she's speaking a lot more English, and when she's at home, she's speaking a lot more Spanish. What I learned actually, which is really interesting through Veronica at Oaxaca Mia, is that in my limited worldview, I was like, well, people in Mexico speak Spanish, right? Not the case at all.
Oh.
Like there are so many different languages, and Mexico's huge. Like, and I think that was one thing I learned through that as well. Like when I was talking to them, I assumed already that their native language would be Spanish. Not at all. I think I'm gonna get this wrong. But there was definitely one language they mentioned, which was Zapoteco, which is like one of the languages around Oaxaca. There's a few different languages as well. Like her and her husband came from different places and spoke different dialects. Like there's so much, and I think this is what really intrigues me about the company and about that community. Is like you wouldn't know to ask, and it doesn't make you like, I guess, willfully ignorant or anything if you don't know it. It's just like there is a whole world of opportunity to know these things that you don't know about yet. Yeah. Yeah, so it's cool. It's really cool
That's
to find out this stuff.
Insane, absolutely. Wow, I'm so excited to see what y'all keep making and doing. But before we... It's called Tell Me a Story. So the way this works, we played it with our other production company people, Fifth Floor Studios, back in season 1. I'm gonna give you a word and a location, and you have a minute and a half to tell me a story based off that. So we have Max or Simi right now with the timer. That's gonna have it for a minute and 30 seconds. So your word is, well, it's multiple words, but pigs in a blanket, and then shout out.
Nice.
And then your location is going to be a gym.
Gym.
Yeah, so pigs in a blanket and a gym. Tell me a story. Your time begins now.
There was once a young gym rat called Max. Yeah, shout out to Max. And before he would go to the gym, every time, without fail, he would not have creatine. He would not have any sort of protein powder, artificial nonsense. No, not for Max.
No.
He would have pigs and blankets. And not just any pigs and blankets. He would have the UK version of pigs and blankets in Takayos. And he would wrap these sausages in bacon for double the protein.
Okay.
Like the true gym rat that he is.
Yeah, I love it.
And every time, without fail, if he didn't have his pigs and blankets, he wouldn't hit a new PB. But every time he did, he would. And that is the story of Max and pigs and blankets. Unless we haven't reached the time, in which case I'll keep talking.
I say you keep going.
Only halfway through? Wow.
Okay, we're gonna throw in a
This
new
was
thing.
only-
Radishes.
Radishes.
Radishes and a cafeteria.
Once, Max tried radishes as a supplement to his pigs and blankets in the gym. However, they just didn't do anything for him. So he put them back in the cafeteria and he kept on with his gym quest with his pigs and blankets. He first went to bench press, right? Beforehand, Max could only bench press 100 pounds. 100, a measly 100. Now, Max can bench press 300 pounds.
He tripled his results?
Truly. Only with a pig and a blanket,
The
aka
UK
a sausage. And the UK. If it was the American version, I don't know what could do.
You said that bread, and the bread was
I don't know about that. The
slowing
bread
down.
wouldn't really work. But yeah, okay, and he PBs on everything, wonderful times, pigs and blankets everywhere.
Wow.
Max was a success.
Shout out to all the
What a
gym
great
rats
story.
everywhere.
Especially Max.
Especially Max. Thank you so much, Michael, for
Thank you.
sitting down with us today. That's our episode, everyone, and we will see you next week. Be sure to check up on Correspondent Productions. Watch the Gaios. You will thank us later.
I don't know. Thank you.
Love y'all.